All right, soccer boys, come on up. Let's go. Stand right there. People want to see me. Okay, I think first I'll just go through and tell you what we got up here. The freshmen are Cody Appleton and Dylan Appleton, Brandon Hart, Corey Maples, Markus Mocan, and Tristan Salkil. I'm going to go quick, yeah. The sophomores are Nick Andrews, Anthony Campinelli, Keith Hart, Austin Newman, Preston Padgett, and Alex Schneider. Juniors, Logan Beach, Cody Crews, Trevor Foster, Jayden Happel, and Evan Harris. And seniors, Wyatt Covert, Christian Lunday, Monroe, Mackinney, and Cysco, Merisotes. So last year was our first year having a soccer program. We had 14 kids come out. You play 11 at a time, so that got interesting. This year we had 21, as you can see, which is awesome. It allowed us to do a little bit more practice. One of the things that allowed us to do is really just, quite frankly, work a little harder. We ran, I want to say a little more, but really probably a lot more. And it was good for us. It made us a lot more competitive, just having the numbers, both in practice and in games. The depth that we had this year was awesome. We had beginning of our season was the toughest run of our season that we had. Unlike other sports, soccer, there aren't a lot of sports, a lot of schools that have soccer that are schools our size. So we're competing with, beginning of the season, we played Marshfield, Oliver, Republic, Lebanon, most schools that are like 5 times our size. So that makes things interesting for us. Last year we played Marshfield's JV. This year we played their varsity, and that was a big move for us. For a lot of our games, we moved from JV games to varsity games, and so Marshfield beat us 2-1, I think. But it was a good kind of place to set the bar for ourselves to see what to expect the rest of the season. So once we got through that little kind of early part of the season, the middle of the season, we went 0-4-1 in the middle of the season. We had a bit of a losing streak there, but during that stretch. Each of those games we averaged losing by one goal. So one goal, I mean, that's one play, it could go either way, and that's how you decide a game in soccer. And it was a game good for us because we played a lot of tight games. The New Covenant game comes to mind. We went to double overtime, we went to penalty kick shootouts, and then we went to double penalty kick shootouts before we lost that game. And that was a big game for us again. That's a district game, and first time we played that team before. So that was a good one for us, and we kind of look forward to playing them again next year, I think. We tied Parkview during that stretch, and Parkview was my old high school, and I went there and I coached there. So I always enjoyed playing them and trying to beat them, and we took it to them, and that was a good game. We tied them in the regular season. Then we hit the last portion of our schedule, and we went, I think, 3-4, if I remember right. We beat Camden. And they had beat us earlier in the season, and we beat them 4-2 at home. It's always nice to play at home. We had a good crowd, and that we always appreciate that. So it motivates a little bit more. So that was a fun game for us. Like I said, we had lost them earlier, beat them 4-2. We also beat Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was one of our only varsity wins that we had this year, and they're a small school out of Joplin. And they'll be on our schedule twice next year. So we look forward to playing them again too. It's nice to end the season with what we have 5 goals in their last regular season game. I know Preston had one. I know Jade had one. Evan had one. I don't remember all of them. When you have 5, it's hard to remember. It's a nice problem to have. So we beat Thomas Jefferson to end the regular season, and then we lost to Catholic in districts, and that one they're still playing right now. They're in the final four, I think, right now. So it's hard to feel too bad about that one. They've been in the state final the last 3 years, and they're going to be there again this year. So it is what it is. I did want to say real quick, Preston. I have Preston who's trying to talk while I'm talking. Surprise. Preston scored 13 goals in, 16 games? So he basically averaged scoring a goal a game, which is ridiculous, really. Especially when you consider the fact that most of the season, he was the only person I played, at forward, so on the attack. So he was kind of facing double, triple teams and still scoring. So, is he turning right at? All right, good. It's awesome. I mean, when you've got a sophomore who can go against double, triple teams, they know where our offense is coming from, and it's still working. You gotta love that. So I think that New Covenant game I was talking about earlier, he was the only forward I played, and he scored 3 goals. And they had to know that's what we were gonna do, but it didn't matter. It didn't stop it. So that was it's nice, and I'm glad that Preston's only a sophomore. If all remains the same, we'll return, I think, 7 starters. I've got 4 seniors, so we kind of have more to look forward to in the next couple of years. We had a good-sized freshman class, a good-sized sophomore class, so really, we've had a young team the last 2 years, and it bodes well for the next couple of years. All right, tell you what, everybody can sit down except the seniors. Seniors can stay up here. The rest of you go, sit down. So I've got 4 seniors, like I said. I'm going to say a little bit about each one of them, not a lot, because I'm trying to keep this going, have a bedtime. The first one I'm going to talk about is Monroe Mackinney. Monroe has 2 specific skills that we're really going to miss this year. One is his ability to throw the ball in from a ridiculous distance. And yes, you can actually use your hands in soccer sometimes. Right, Monroe? That's the time to use your hands in soccer. Monroe, that's going to be hard to replace, honestly. Another thing that Monroe can do that's going to be hard to replace is his ability to basically attack the ball in the air. Teams like to attack with the cross, and Monroe has these sort of mentality of kind of no fear when the ball's in the air. He doesn't mind putting his head or the side of his face on the ball occasionally. And you've got to have people like that. You've got to have people that are willing to put their body on the line, and that is Monroe. And that's going to be hard to replace, so good stuff. The second senior I want to say something about is Wyatt. And Wyatt has speed. If you know Wyatt, he also has energy all the time. But in soccer, that's a good thing, and we appreciate that. And Wyatt's energy and speed not only got him, I think, 3 goals this year, which is awesome, but it also opened up our offense a lot for other people. And when I did have him playing outside mid, or when I had only one forward, Wyatt's the one who had to kind of run all the way upfield and all the way backfield all the time. And you got to have people like that. And Wyatt was able to kind of draw defenders over and open things up for the rest of our offense too. And Wyatt's also somebody that took advantage of our off-season opportunities. We had spring soccer stuff, we had summer soccer stuff, and Wyatt was at all that stuff, and it showed from last year to this year. And I think that's an important example for our younger guys too, because the more of any sport, the more you're playing year-round, the better you're going to be, and that showed with Wyatt, I think. So, good stuff. The next senior I want to talk about is Cysco. Cysco is one of our seniors and captains this year, and Cysco doesn't really lead with like a scary yelling and screaming and intimidating people. He leads by example. I'll get there. Yeah. Cisco leads by example. Cisco, whether it's running drills or whatever it is, Cisco is at the front of the pack at all times. And when it came to playtime, Cisco never really had to ask to come out because he was in shape to play all the time. It didn't matter if he was getting knocked over and trampled or elbowed in the ribs in our penalty area or whatever. He played through it. And as a coach, you have to have kids like that are just going to be, just going to tough it out and play no matter what, and make sure that they're in the physical condition that they need to be to play as much as possible. And I think that's another example that's set for the younger guys is the more you prepare yourself to play, the more you're going to play, and that's something that you younger guys need to look at as well. Right? Good stuff. The last senior I'm going to say something about is Christian, and remember that thing I said about Cysco not leading by screaming and yelling and intimidation? Well, that's because that was Christian's job. Whether it was before the game, halftime, or after the game, if somebody was going to say something to motivate our team, it was going to be Christian. He made sure of that. Like I said, before the game, if we were doing some sort of yelling and pumping up, it was Christian, and everyone could hear him. It didn't matter if you were the other team, it didn't matter if you were in the stands, you could hear him. After the game, I think the Republic game comes to mind as a game that, whether Christian was really happy after a game or not too happy after a game, he let everybody know about it, and he motivated them for the next game. Again, you need that sort of intensity, that sort of aggressiveness in any sport, and we have to have kids like that. And Christian really set the tone for our team in regards to aggressiveness and intensity, but still keeping it positive for the most part. And hopefully some of that aggressiveness rubbed off on the younger guys as well. So, good stuff, Christian. You guys can sit down. Yeah. Notice I don't mind awkward pauses. It's okay. Surprise. So we're going to do a couple awards real quick. I have 3 awards to do. The first one we're going to do is the soccer awards we vote on, the kids vote on, and the only rule I give them is I'm not going to give the same award or 3 awards to one kid, but other than that, they vote on the awards. So I kind of like that about our awards. Our first one is best team defense, and I've already talked a little bit about this kid, but one quick story I'll tell is we played Parkview the second time in their tournament, and we didn't have this kid for the first half because, he's also really good at band. That's all right, we shared. But we didn't have him in the first half, and it showed on our defense. We got scored on 3 times in the first half, and we were down 3-0. And he showed up at halftime. We shut their offense down. We scored 2 goals in the second half. We made a nice run at them. Almost finished that comeback off. Just didn't have quite enough time. And that game showed how much we missed him when he wasn't there. And it showed how important he was to our defense. We missed you. All right. Our team voted best defense is Christian Lunday. The second award I'm going to do is best offense. Again, talked about this person a little bit already. He at times was our offense. We relied heavily on him for scoring. And the funny thing about this kid is he didn't score a goal last year. He was a good soccer player last year, but he didn't score a goal. I don't know how that happens one year, and then the next year you lead the team in scoring. You average a goal a game. I genuinely don't know how that happens. Part of the reason was because I made him play defense a lot last year, but I played it half the season this year. I put him in the center mid, and he still made things happen. So, well deserved. I'm so glad this kid is only a sophomore. If I have you in English next year, I might fail you just to keep you for a 5th year. Best team offense, Preston Padgett. The final award we're going to do is Team MVP, and again, these are voted on by the kids. And this kid is very, very reliable and consistent on the soccer field. He started playing soccer last year, I think, but his position just has come naturally to him. He's another kid that if he wasn't on the field, I don't really have a backup plan. Like, he just has to be on the field all the time. And luckily he's able to do that for us. And he keeps us in games sometimes. He's kept us in a lot of games in the last 2 years. And I'm very glad that he's a junior and I'll have him for one more year. The team MVP, as voted on by our players, is Cody Aim for the Rim Crews. Don't have anything else to say. I don't know who's next.